Question. To all the women who listen to all those, y'all gulped up that modern feminism, propaganda and listen to all the people that were promoting feminism. Did modern feminism work out for you?
These women who get into their 40s, who always intended to have a family, who realize that they now can't, they go to support groups, and these women are grieving for families that they never had, which is just brutal.
We always have a bunch of men running around here talking about how sad women are going to be for not having kids, how sad women are going to be for not having families. They listen to a woman like Tracy Ellis Ross talk about how, she's single by choice. She's 52, and the men were crashing out because she's single. There's other women who just aren't interested in having kids and aren't interested in being in long-term relationships with men on anybody else's circumstances other than their own. They just don't want to do it. If the man isn't up to snuff, they're not going to have kids with him. They're not going to get married. They're not going to commit, right? But the men are running around here trying to convince these women that they're going to be sad, that they're going to be distraught, that life's never going to amount to anything for them, right? In this video, I'm going to show you guys that is a complete fucking joke. We finally have rare footage of a man or men actually talking about this, actually being honest for once. This is what they're trying to convince women of. This is what they want to do. This is the mindset they want women to have. This is the fear they want to instill in women.
Years ago, there was a study done that predicted that most women, I think it was 45% of women between the ages of 18 to 40, these are working women, they were predicted to be single by 2025, the year that we're currently in. Well, oh well. That report was wrong, and it was well off by like 5%. The number is actually higher. It's at 52%. So as usual, I got one question. To all the women who listen to all those, y'all gulped up that modern feminism, propaganda and listen to all the people that were promoting feminism. Did modern feminism work out for you? And please do not give me a cope answer. Like, I'm talking about for real. Like, are y'all actually happy with what society is today? Because I could promise you feminism had a lot to do with what we're dealing with today. Because we know based on studies, based on factors, family and children are what women derive most of their happiness from. Yes, it's nice to be able to make your own dollar, pay for certain stuff. But at the end of the day, like, women like to be around people, and especially people that come from them. Hence a family. Because somehow feminism, it convinced women that, work your whole life, and then you have nothing to show for it in terms of, like, you skip making a family and finding somebody that you love, and then you're just coming home to nobody, basically. And like I said before, women derive happiness from people. They like to, be around people, and especially people who come from them. Like, you guys have the greatest gift, which is to create a whole lineage, and feminism has deterred you guys away from that.
Feminism did not ruin anything for women. Feminism, a mechanism of feminism, is to keep women safe. Feminism has done just that. Women choosing to not be in relationships with toxic men, choosing to not put their bodies on the line to have children with men that are going to abuse and or abandon them, has kept women safe. And yeah, there could be some level of disappointment, but the disappointment, typically, to me, what I see is it comes from them grieving with the idea that has been implanted in their mind that their self-worth is wrapped up in their ability to have a family, right? So it's an external thing that is weighing on them, but internally they're okay. Like, internally they're perfectly fine. They're like, no, this is actually a good thing. Like, I'm happy, and I know that I'm better for not having kids. I know that I'm better for not being in a toxic relationship with a man. So feminism actually kept women safe. He's acting as if feminism has made women less happy, but feminism is literally keeping women alive. So what would you rather be? Unhappily, and I'm saying worst case scenario, would you rather be unhappily single, or would you rather be I guess, I don't know how this could work out, but be happily in an abusive relationship? or worse, happily a victim of femicide. Because that's what most women's fates are, in between there. It's in between unhappy in a relationship to femicide. That's what most women's experiences are with men. Unhappy in a relationship to femicide. And you're telling me that women just don't know that those are the most likely outcomes for them, and they're being tricked by feminism? No, they're being educated by feminism. Feminism has educated women, has kept women safe. So yeah, you're just wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't even know what feminism is. And women don't derive their value from external sources like men do. Men get our value from other men. We get our validation from society and from other men. All of it. I get some of it you can get from, society or whatever. You definitely want to be accepted into society and all of that stuff. Don't get me wrong. But women get their validation. They draw it from their self-worth. They draw it from their peer group, from their friends, from other women, mostly. They don't get it from, I got a kid, I got a family, or whatever the case may be, because women know that that's not an accomplishment. Like the majority of women and men over the age of 40 have kids. Like 90% of men and women over the age of 40 historically have had children or have children. How is that an accomplishment? If the vast majority of people are doing it, how is it an accomplishment? Why is it something to be touted? It's so hilarious because that's the only time you guys want to give women props, is when they have a family. It doesn't matter if the family is healthy. Doesn't matter if the woman is healthy and happy. Just that she has a family, that's the only thing you'll pat a woman on the back for and give her an attaboy or an attagirl. That's it. Not her maintaining that family, doing all the labor and all that stuff. That gets totally dismissed. And that's the thing that is a big reason as to why they are uninterested in having families, because they see how men don't actually value that or respect it. And they do need men to respect and value it if they are going to be in a relationship with us. So they're choosing to abstain from those things and keep themselves safer and happier and healthier than they would if they had gotten involved in a relationship with a man and had children.
8 out of 10 women who are childless didn't intend to be childless. It's called involuntary childlessness. Around about 10% of women are physically incapable of having kids for a variety of reasons. 10% said that they actually didn't intend to have children, and that leaves a whopping 4 out of 5 who didn't have children due to life circumstances. That's the most common reason for it, and the most common life circumstance is leaving it too late to find a partner and then have kids. You break through that fertility window on the other side. These women who get into their 40s, who always intended to have a family, who realize that they now can't, they go to support groups, and these women are grieving for families that they never had, which is just brutal. Like, to think that you can grieve for something that didn't occur.
Yeah, most women who don't have kids are not joining groups to grieve for not having a family that they never had. It doesn't even make sense. Some women are probably doing that. I could see that. But most, no. The vast majority aren't. The vast majority of women that are 40 years old, 35 years old, 30 years old, whatever age you're supposed to have kids by, the majority of those women are completely content with not having kids. They're good. The ones that are consciously making that decision. And involuntary, you guys added that involuntary. It is 100% voluntary. That's an oxymoron. They haven't found the right partner, so they've chosen not to have kids. How is it involuntary? It's 100% voluntary, meaning if they wanted to have kids, they could have just settled for any of those other dudes that they've been with, that they have access to, but they're choosing to abstain. Therefore, it is not involuntary. You guys are trying to equate these women with involuntary celibates who don't have access to women, no matter how hard they try, because they try in the wrong ways. But no matter how hard they try, they just can't get access to women. That is involuntary. Unless they pay for it or rape, they wouldn't have access to a woman, right? Cool. Flip that around with these women. These women could have 10, they could have 10 husbands if they wanted to. They decided not to. How is that involuntary? You guys are trying so hard to manipulate women and to make women believe that they are, that they're in these unhealthy relationships, or not, I'm sorry, you're trying so hard to make women believe that they are unhealthy because they don't have children and they don't have a husband and they don't have a man, that you're using the rhetoric you're using is completely wrong and false. Trying to equate them to involuntary celibates. They're not. They're not. They're on the complete other end of the spectrum. Now, with all that being said, we know that single men without children, without a family, without a wife, are extremely unhappy. We know single women without a family, without children, without a man are happier than women who have those things. So that man in the first video who said, "Oh, women derive their happiness from the people who they have created," is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's a lie. That is him projecting, because that's what men do. Men need validation. Men need people to worship them, right? Because we believe we're gods. So we create children, or we participate in the creation of children. I should say, we don't create them, but we participate in the creation of children so that we can have little worshipers. And that's where we get our validation from. So we can have a woman that will wait on us hand and foot. That's where we get our validation from. We get our validation from having a family and other men going, "Oh, wow, he has a family. Let's put him on a pedestal. He's trustworthy. He must be a good guy." That's where we get our validation from. Women, not so much. That's why I love this video right here. You guys are going to love this. Listen to some men having this discussion, telling the fucking God's honest truth for once.
You're not single anymore, huh? You're not single anymore.
I'm single.
You know?
Yeah. No one could claim me. No one could claim me. No one could claim me. Bro, I'm single. Single. Like when you lot go tumbleweed rolls through the house. How about you, Gabriel? How's your dating life?
How about you?
How's your dating life? At 40. Next week.
It's actually not nice. I think I would have hoped that I would have been married by now. Even though I'm against marriage, I would have thought I'd have been in a family home with a wife, or even if not a wife, just a family. I've actually been dead serious. That's the part where I'm a bit disappointed in myself. I think by now I should have been in a family.
That's the part.
Down, little wife to get events. No, I've been genuine.
No.
I didn't feel that I definitely slacked on that part. I think I definitely.
We focus more on the grind and that we let everything else go by.
Yeah, it's not good. And as I said, I've always been the one to say I've self-sabotaged when it comes to that. I'm the problem.
Exactly. Listen to him, y'all. He's being honest. He's self-reflecting right now. This is him being introspective as a man could possibly be, I think, in this instance. This is awesome. This is like a breath of fresh air. This is amazing to hear another man admit this and be honest with himself about this. Come to find out, this whole time, who would have thought that it wasn't the women that would be disappointed if they didn't, if they didn't get married and didn't have a man? It's actually the men.
Generally speaking, some of them are wankers, but I'll say that generally speaking, if you're going to put on a scale of like percentage, and I want it to be as biased as possible, I say it's 51% my fault, 49% their fault. But it's probably wider than that. It's probably like maybe 80%.
80% your
80% my fault, 20% their fault. Yeah. Definitely, because
80-20, he says? I feel like he might have been watching my content, because that's what I be saying. I be saying 80-20 all day long. Y'all go back and watch. Oh, ain't that something? He from different part of the world, but he's saying the exact. Ain't that crazy? 80-20. Huh. 80% his fault, 20, and he's saying, yeah, some of them are wankers, right? Some of the women were bad or whatever. Okay, cool. He's 40 years old. I'm sure he done met a handful of, problematic women, no doubt about it, right? I can tell he's had access to women. He ain't no slouch. You know what I'm saying? He's attractive. He seems intelligent, has some level of self-awareness. I'm sure he's had access to plenty of women. Few of them were slouches, cool. But he's saying 80-20, his fault. He said he wanted to say 51-49 now, but if I was being honest, it's more like 80-20. Interesting. Let's continue.
I think I've learned of all of my friends who've got girlfriends or partners or wives is that they say, Gabriel, the things you moan about, most, if not all women are going to moan about. So pick your poison. Like those things that our wives do the same thing. So if you're going to leave her because of that, you're going to leave every woman. So just
I wonder what those things are that he's pissing and moaning about.
Just accept it. So I think that's the only thing I would say that I wished that I would have been in at my age now, is in a family. Like, I've got my woman, my kids, I'm doing family trips, you know. That's to me is the height of growing up as a man, responsibility. And I think when you don't have the responsibility, it's my own opinion, I think you're missing a big part of being whatever a man is, in my opinion. And I think,
see, men seek external validation from other men. I know you guys are not clocking that. A lot of y'all are gonna miss that, man. He is saying that is what it's, you know, that's a big part of being a man. There is no big part of being a man. It's about being a human. So you're buying into gender roles that put this unnecessary pressure on you to be somebody that you're not. Why do that? Why not be a whole human being yourself? If he was a whole human being himself, he wouldn't be feeling like this right now. If he worked on himself, if he did the internal work, he wouldn't be feeling like this right now. Instead, he's feeling like, oh man, you know, I'm not really a man because I don't have kids. And like, what? Who told you that? So what about all the men who can have kids? Are they not really men? He has this part of it wrong, but I just want to show you, if you listen to what he's saying though, where is he getting that from? That is not something that he created on his own. The concept of manhood and what it is to be a man is completely subjective, and it is learned. It is not something that you just innately have within you or feel. It is nothing, has nothing to do with nature. You're not driven to have responsibilities. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Absolutely not.
I think it's responsibility that makes you a man. And that's why I always say that when I look at my friends like Prince.
If responsibilities are what's the thing that makes you a man, then why do women have more responsibilities than men? Why do women have more responsibilities than men? That's dumb. No, that's wrong. That's not the thing that makes you a man. That shouldn't be any part of manhood whatsoever.
I don't know the ins of his relationship, but what I can say is that he's a family man. Like he's a family man. And I don't think I can give any more respect than someone who runs a family. So I think that's the part where I think I've shaken myself a bit, because just being a bachelor, that's for kids, man. In my opinion, I think you can be a bachelor after you've had kids. So let's say you've had your kids and family and it all goes tits up, and then you're now 55 or 60 living your life. Live your life. I think you've got to have done it. And I think that's where I would.
Absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely the fuck not. A family is not something to experience for a while. To me, a family is something that should be forever. It should be until you die. You should pick a partner, do right by her or him or them until you die. That's how, especially once you have kids, So no, I don't agree with that. That shouldn't be just something like, yeah, and that's what a lot of men want to do. A lot of men want to get married in their 20s and 30s, use that woman to get wealthy, to establish themselves, have the family, have their legacy, quote unquote, aka their lineage in place, and then, you know, they don't care if the relationship goes tits up, and then they're back out there on the open market by the age of 50 and 55. And now they're Shannon Sharp, and they're dating 19-year-olds or 25-year-olds if they can, because they finally got a little money in the bank. You know?
Hands up and say, I put a mirror to my face and say, all this stuff you're doing, Gabriel, is great, but grow up, please.
That's interesting. So I imagine, like, you'd have to move pretty quickly.
Yeah,
he's going to get married and have kids and all that stuff now.
It's a bit like, you know, when you get someone who just keeps going to education and never gets a job because they don't want the responsibility of working. So they always do degrees, that degree, because they don't want a job. So it's just like me, for instance, you keep putting it off with some other excuse. You always find an excuse. Oh, I need to make more money. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that. Bro, it will work. And the reality is, if you really want it, you'll make it work. I think so. And if you're, I know we keep saying if you're the right woman, if you're with the right woman, she'll make it work with you too.
I love the fact that he's 40 years old and he sounds resigned to the fact that he's never going to have a family, because, nigga, you too old. Let me tell you, I'm so tired of you 40-year-old men talking about we're going to have babies forever. You can't. You shouldn't. You too old too. If she's too old, you're too old. I said that a long time ago. I remember watching this video about Aaron Hall, or no, it wasn't about Aaron Hall. It was Donnell Rawlings, and he's like 50 something years old, and he was asking him about, you know, why doesn't he want to date women his age? And he was like, because the women my age are too old to have babies. And I was like, if the women your age are too old to have babies, then so are you. So, yeah, wrap that shit up.
I think so. I've not been in love like that to make these claims, but I think so, man. You can't be 40 and just doing bachelor. I just don't think it's, even like when man's going out now, man's saying, oh, the raves are too young. No, you're too old. The raves are not too young. You're old. Like, if every rave you go to, you keep saying it's too young. It's not young. You're old. Go to the rave with your girl. Or go like...
That's why.
That's it. We're just too old.
Some of the places where the man mentioned, you know my opinion straight away. I'm like,
too old.
I'm not involved.
Just be honest. We're too old. It's not like you can't, like, the other day, one of my mates was saying that, imagine, a flyer was put in the group for an event. He said his son has sent him the same flyer to say this is where he wants to go.
No chance.
The flyer went in the group, and my mate said, hold on a minute. He then sent a screenshot of what his son sent him, the same flyer. His son's 18, 19.
Too old. I like the way this man thinks. He has some sense about him. He does. He has some sense about him. Period, point blank. He has some sense about him. He's exactly right. Shannon Shar needs to watch this video.
We're both contemplating going to the same place.
Is he going as a chaperone?
No, he's going to. We're too old. And as I said, we're meant to be doing family stuff now. That's what it's all about. What else is it all about? All this stuff you're doing for what? And when you brag about, we've all, like, and I hate using the word smashed or beat, whatever. We've all sex girls. Like, it's not. We've all done it. Show me the one that you can keep. We've all done it. Like, it's not. It's just okay. Well done. Like, oh yeah, she's buff. Okay, well done.
You don't get no medals for that shit.
Like, come on, like, don't get me wrong. You pat a man on the back.
You said
like,
that with anger.
What's the truth? Though? It's the truth. What do you want to do?
Bro, it's like
Keep one now.
Like,
Keep
you
one.
see that when you get older, yeah?
Yeah.
There's little things like, all right, so back in the day, when I had my first car, then I remember like 06, I had my first car, I would drive far. Then even when I didn't have my car for a bit, for like 6 years when I wasn't driving, bro, I would teleport from my house to like Harrow to link a girl. Now, you think you can get me to Streatham from here? There's no purpose. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know the distances, but I know what he's saying though. Like, you know, just the excitement wears off. You start to appreciate your time more. You're not so driven by sex and, you know, and all of that stuff. You just like, I mean, nah, I'm not going out of my way to do that, you know, as an older man. But yeah, when we were younger, we did crazy missions. I was talking to my wife about that the other day. I was saying how when I was younger, I was thinking about like nowadays, how the younger kids, they got like electric scooters and bikes. And I was like, man, I couldn't imagine having that stuff back in my day, because I would have been like so far away from my house. But I live in Long Beach, California. And just to give a reference, like I would go from my city, Long Beach, I would go 2, 3, 4 cities over. You know, I'm talking 30 miles on a bike in a day, easily, like crazy distances, just to do whatever I wanted to do. I would do that to go to a girl's house. I would do that to go play basketball. I would do that to go swimming at a different pool because we was tired of swimming at the local pool. I do that to go to a mall, not the close mall. I would go to the far mall and, you know, whatever. We would, you know what I'm saying? I done roll my bike to Compton, Carson, Lakewood, like all the surrounding Cerritos. So we done been everywhere on our bikes. You know what I mean? Like now you couldn't pay me to do that. Like I'm not doing that shit. I'm uninterested in it. And I physically can. It's not like it would tire me out or something like that. Like I just don't want to do it. That takes too much time out of my day. I got better things to be doing, you know. So yeah, I understand exactly what he's saying.
People come at my house, I'll get the bird call, I'll look at my phone and I'll be like, I'm not gonna do that, man. You want me to get in my tracksuit, jump in my car, busting up, then drive back and be having like what do you call it, man?
That drive home is
PNS. Yeah, I'm like post not clarity.
Oh, PNC.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll rather not. You know what I mean? Like now.
Right, so when you have the post not clarity, so that drive home now, yeah. What are you thinking about?
Huh?
What are the thoughts that are going through your mind when you're driving back home?
I got to be up early in the morning. I should be asleep. Yeah. but when you're younger, you don't need no sleep. You get what I'm saying? When you're younger, he would tell you cough on warehouse days.
You would sacrifice sleep for pleasure, right? A lot of times when you're younger. And I do see that with my like friends that are my age still. They're still, I see some of them, I should say, not all of them or most of them. I know I got a few of the homies and they really still be trying to pop on the scene. They always got to, every time they upload some pictures or whatever, they got some drinks in their hand, they got some girls in their arms, they own boats, and there's no shade. You know what I mean? Like if that's how they want to live, like I'm not knocking them, but I'm just saying like, I don't think that they're necessarily like sacrificing sleep to do that type of stuff. I know they're responsible adults, but if you are still doing that at that age, that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't like, they're single. They don't got no kids. They ain't got no wives. Do your thing. You know what I mean? Like live how you want to live. Same thing with women. Like, I don't care. The whole like 21 with no kids challenge. I liked all those videos. I didn't care. I don't care what they was doing. I don't care. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as you start, I'm saying, as soon as you start to like sacrifice your happiness, your overall happiness and well-being so that you could chase a high, having fun or whatever the case may be, you probably need to tone it down a little bit. We a little bit too old for that. It's just odd listening to men, for once tell the truth about that, because like I already showed you, this is what I hear every day from men. I hear from so many men acting like women are going to be so miserable without babies, without children, without, families, without husbands, without boyfriends. And it's just not true. It's literally just projection as usual. That is the thing that men feel. We feel like that. We feel like we're not going to be satisfied unless we have some woman to dominate. We have some kids to abuse or whatever you want to do with your family. Because most of y'all don't know how and don't want to take care of your kids or your wife. But you don't know what's going, you think that you think that you got to have that stuff, to make yourself whole. When in reality, you can make yourself whole without a woman. And you should make yourself whole without a woman. And if you do get a woman and you're a whole human being, your relationship will be that much better for it. That's the reality. Moral of the story, man, stop projecting. Stop lying. Stop trying to convince women that their lives are going to be worse. If you really want women to be in relationships with you, just become a better person. That way you don't have to wake up 40 years old and regretting the choices that you made in your life. The choices you made to not grow up. The choices you made to not be the best version of yourself. That way you can get into a meaningful relationship with a happy, healed human being, because you're a happy, healed human being. That needs to be our focus.